Like in most games, promoted priests can use offensive magic. In this game it's fire, thunder and wind rather than light though. The class is also called High Priest, and not Bishop, but pretty much the same thing except for the different types of magic used. And now Finn's promoting. And as you can see, Finn promotes into the same class as Kuan. Yeah, in all respects, it's essentially the same. He doesn't have quite as good defense as Kuan does. He does have better skill, though. Now, Ede needs to get out of the castle because, as you might have seen on her status screen, she can talk to Bridget. And you can probably guess why. If you're observant in the prologue chapter, you'll know why. Now, it looks like one of those stupid sword users has run directly into range of Bridget. Not smart. So basically, this group just needs to survive like this. Claude can heal when necessary. And hopefully they'll be able to hold out until the main group arrives. Good to put as many sword users in it as you can, because of course, you know, they have a lot of axe users. Certainly makes a change from all the lancers you were seeing with the Augustrian troops. Can't really see how many turns have gone by. I don't really care since I'm definitely not going to get a good tactics ranking. I never do. I just don't like rushing chapters. Now I just realised that, yeah, I don't think it's worth it for Finn to participate in this battle anymore. Yeah, any experience he gets will sort of be wasted. And now when someone does this, of course, you attack them with Telchu. When someone does this, well, they're a moron. Although you'll hope that more of them do that. Like I said before, Ju needs to head over there for a secret event. I was going to say probably the last in the first part, but yeah, there's actually another one in the next chapter, but I don't actually initiate it. I'll tell you about that one in chapter 4, it doesn't really make any sense to talk about it now. It's a pretty weird one, and it's unlikely to help very much. There's also one that occurs in Chapter 5, but Arden has to be paired for that one. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Just watch out for those pirate archers. Essentially, treat Tiltu just like you did Azel in the prologue chapter. She can't take any more than one hit. Of course, unlike Azel, she is very likely to kill pretty much anything on a counterattack because of Wrath. Of course, yeah, as a High Priest, Claude can use offensive magic too. He's not the best at it, but, I mean, it helps to give him the ability to defend himself. Of course, there's not much chance you'll be able to do that in this chapter. In the next chapter, it's advisable to buy him a magic tome of some kind. Preferably a basic one, because you don't want to waste a good one on him. Just so he can, you know, fight in the arena a bit. Don't expect him to get past the first 2 or 3 battles, but it helps if he can fight a bit to get gold. And speaking of Claude, of course, as you'll no doubt know by now, he's also known as the best and arguably only good pairing for Sylvia. Although there's not much chance you'll be getting any love points for them in this chapter. Yeah, it'll take a while for them to reach each other, and by that time, it'll probably be past the 50th turn anyway. Still, the next chapter is an excellent opportunity for that. Especially since they get a special conversation too. Now, of course, if you're training Jew, I can't really remember the last time I did. I'm not really sure when I got him promoted. It was probably in Chapter 4. He does do very well against axe users if you can train him up, though. And it's best to use Thoron most of the time. Thunder is really only worth it when you just really need to hit. I mean, Thoron is actually pretty good. It's got a bit less accuracy than the average Thunder spell, but I mean, the power really makes up for it. And she's actually the only one who can use it in, actually the whole first generation. Yeah, that's right, there's no way for anyone else to use it. In fact, for some interesting reason, none of the children in the second generation can actually use the Thoron tome in their base class. What I'm trying to say is she can't actually pass it on. It's weird, but yeah, she can't, her children can't inherit it because no one can actually use it. Yeah, children can only inherit items they can use in their base class, which means that if you pair Ira with Lex, for example, their son won't be able to inherit any axes. And now it's time to rescue the village. I think it's a bit late for us to do it somewhere else. Yeah, watch out for those archers. Don't get her into range of them. Another thing I should be stressing, by the end of this chapter, most of your characters should be pretty close to promoting. In other words, after a bit of fighting in the arena, they should be able to promote in the next chapter. Or at least during the next chapter. You're aiming that by chapter 5, just about everyone is promoted. Otherwise, yeah, you're in for some serious trouble. It's not actually too hard to do that, considering that everyone can use the arena freely. Speaking of the arena, something kind of interesting, you probably want to get Tailchew to an arena before this chapter ends, because Wrath is pretty interesting how it works in the arena. Basically, if you get KO'd in the arena and reduced to 1 HP, and you come back in on 1 HP, that'll activate Wrath. Which means that you can just keep repeating an arena match until she wins. Basically. For some odd reason, the same doesn't work with Prayer. So if you enter the arena with 1 HP, Prayer won't work.